We are back with a Fox News alert. U.S. military bases in the Middle East remain vigilant after Iran threatened to retaliate after yesterday's strikes, which hit 3 of the country's nuclear facilities. The attack was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history, utilizing 7 of the stealth bombers and more than 125 other U.S. military aircraft, according to the Pentagon. In total, the U.S. employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons, including 14 of the 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs and over 24 Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from a U.S. submarine. Lucas Tomlinson is live at the Pentagon with the latest. Lucas, what new information do you have for us tonight?
Well, good evening, Katie. Where did those other 31 bombs and missiles come from? They came from U.S. military fighter jets, which were the first into Iran ahead of the B-2 strike to launch this operation. Here was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane.
The U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and 5th generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats.
Now, this mission began with deception. 9 B-2 stealth bombers took off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri just after midnight early Saturday. 2 flew west over the Pacific to act as decoys. But 7 of those B-2s did not fly west. They flew quietly to the east, not squawking with minimal communication. Their destination, Iran's underground nuclear facilities, of course. The B-2s entered Iranian airspace at 6 p.m. Eastern. 40 minutes later, those B-2s dropped those 14 massive bunker-busting bombs, 12 hit the underground uranium enrichment site in Fordow, 2 struck Natanz. And at the same time, those 15-ton bombs hit their targets. 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from a guided missile submarine, just one, Katie, slamming into the nuclear site in Isfahan, the 3rd target. And this afternoon, those B-2s landed back home at their base in Missouri to complete their 37-hour round-trip mission. They were refueled at least 3 times in the air each way. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says this mission against Iran is not open-ended and does not seek regime change. Katie?
From the air and the sea. Thank you, Lucas. Amazing. Good to see you. All right. Well, the United States successfully attacked 3 Iranian nuclear sites last night, including the Fordow facility, which was Iran's last untouched nuclear base buried deep underground and required the U.S. to use bunker buster bombs. These bombs were also used on the Natanz nuclear site. Meanwhile, U.S. submarines fired over 24 Tomahawk missiles at the Isfahan nuclear site, as well as the Natanz site. Joey Jones is here to break down why this mission was such a success and what might happen next. Over to you, Joey.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to get through these first few screens, and I'm going to nerd out on the bomb real quick. So this is kind of a schematic of what happened. The red here shows you where the Tomahawks came in from. The blue shows you the egress, the coming in and the coming out of the plane. So let's go ahead and move forward and talk a little bit about the mission. 7,085 miles from Missouri straight to Iran. We don't know they went straight there, but pretty much. You see here it says it'll go about 6,900 miles before refueling. That's without 60,000 pounds of a bomb strapped to its belly. So it refueled multiple times along the way. I don't know exactly where, but to do an air refueling at night with a stealth bomber, man, just so impressive. So let's get to the bomb itself. We've heard a lot about it. I'm going to tell you probably a little bit more than I should, but that's okay. So what happens here is from here to here about, well, maybe down here, this is your penetrator. What happens here is you have 2 different types of explosives. So you've got, and these are polymer explosives. So what they are, they're not very sensitive at all. So you have 2 different types of explosives, and it's wrapped and coated in 25,000 pounds of steel, because there's only about 5,500 pounds of explosives in here. What you have up here is your guidance unit. So all of the guidance happens up here. This is where your electronics are. This is what's stabilizing it and causing it to go on course. So what happens is, when this cone hits, it causes a chain reaction through multiple fuses. So that impact inertia is what we call it. You have different motions like setback, like when your car takes off, throws you back to seat, that's setback. When your car hits a wall, you go forward, that's impact inertia. When the impact inertia of it hitting the ground happens, you have a time delay fuse in here or a delay fuse in here. And what happens is it actually, I believe, initiates from the bottom and goes forward into your explosive. So think of a sensitive explosive here, a slightly less sensitive explosive, slightly less sensitive explosive, and that's so that they can withstand the impact of going into the ground 100 feet without blowing up from a sympathetic detonation. So what I really want to show you here is that this is super simple. This guidance unit, we use that on all types of guided bombs. The fuses that are in it, we use those fuses on all types of bombs. The explosives that's in it, That's explosives that we use all the time with various types of bombs. A penetrating bomb is not all that uncommon. So when we say the United States is the only country that has the capability to do this, a lot of it has to do with how it got there. The fact that we can deliver it the way we did. And we're the only country that's put the parts together and said, we have this capability, dare you to dig something in the ground, and that's what happened. So I want to show you a little bit more kinetic version of that map we showed you earlier. So what we're learning happened is when the naval ships set off the Tomahawk missiles, from my understanding of the timeline, is they actually fired the missiles before the stealth bombers got into the area of operation. The missiles went very far, obviously, and then the stealth bombers were able to do their thing before the Tomahawk missiles hit. So that's that coordination, that synchronizing that we talk about. These missiles, the Tomahawk missiles, what makes them so effective is they're essentially drone planes. They have the ability to change course, even change target while flying. So any type of missile, unlike that bomb I just showed you, it has propulsion behind it. So the warhead, the actual payload, is not going to be as much because so much of it is the rocket fuel used to get it there. And from my recollection, I think there's only about a 1,000-pound bomb in those Tomahawk missiles. That's probably why they fired so many of them. And then to move on here to the very last screen, these are the bases of our men and women in uniform that are vulnerable to attack now. I can't tell you an ordnance order of battle. I can't tell you which one of these is a higher target than the other. But I can tell you, I lived at the Al Asad Air Base, and that is a very important air base for us. It's big, it's fortified. I don't know what we have there, but I would imagine it's assets we need. Any of these that say air base, in my opinion, are a higher value target because it's my belief that if Iran comes back with a measured response, not trying to draw blood, but to take away assets to show that they can respond, they're going to go after maybe planes and things like that. I don't know that. I haven't heard that. That's my presumption as a ground troop that just knows how to play the game risk. So, guys, hopefully that was educational, helped you understand some of the rhetoric and some of the explanations that have come across. At the end of the day, what you need to know is that our military is badass. And when it comes to conventional war, we are the conventional superpower.
Yes, indeed. And you are that word at showing us the map and everything going on. So thank you for your expertise. We all appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.